Hi, everyone. It's Bridget Aileen Cisco, founder of Exalted Publishing House. Today, I'm here with a dear friend and colleague, Melisa Keenan. We're going to be talking about how using your feminine energy can be a growth strategy in your business. So, welcome, Melissa. I'm so grateful that you're here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yes. I want to read a little bit about you and then I'll have you introduce yourself. I just love how you call yourself the confidant to millionaire businesswomen and you help them master their feminine CEO. I just love that. And you also share about how the feminine energy isn't just about sitting in the circle and singing kumbaya and using incense, but you really bring this like different approach to business leadership and women who are making a lot of money in their businesses and how they can tap into a little bit more of the feminine energy. So, thank you. Um, let's start with you just doing a little bit of your intro and sharing why and how you got into this work.
Yeah. I think that most of my life, I haven't wanted to own this, but I have been kind of a shapeshifter. I have been very trying on different identities to figure out who I am. And our current society says that's bad, that you should be consistent in all ways, in all things. But the essence of the feminine is actually always changing. And so, throughout my life, from things like intense childhood trauma to then forming a family at a really young age and working through addictions and betrayal and things in my marriage, to then running a 6+ figure business as a CEO. Throughout that whole journey, this idea that women, I have always felt so put in a box, and that women feel so put in a box. And the more success that we create, the more we start to feel like those pressures even seem to increase, and the target on our back seems to get even bigger. And at some point in the journey, it was like I have to claim my sovereignty in every moment of every day. I've been raised very aware and attached to and knowing the truth of my inner divinity, but this cognitive dissonance of never feeling actually connected to it, or actually connected to my own power. That the voices that run in my head of like, I'm not enough, and just judging myself and whatever, like, then add to the voices out here. And I realized that so many other women were feeling the same way. So many other women were feeling such heavy, heavy pressure as business women are out here, like putting this massive message out, like something that like was written on their heart, and that they were like, this needs to go out in the world. So I'm going to create a business about it. And here she is, like literally feeling like she's carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders. And that's when I knew I really needed to help these women specifically to access parts of themselves and reject the parts of our culture that tell her that she has to do it this way.
Yeah. Yeah. Like when I think about the top 2% of female business owners, there's still part of that narrative I think that exists within me is they have to have some of that masculine drive to create such a thing. And I'd love to hear more about how bringing in more of our feminine energy and blending the two can really help someone, not only continue to grow their business, but as someone who has a lot of pressure because they're growing such a big business, how they can like honor themselves and their relationships as they're this big business owner.
Our masculine energy is super important, and it is a innate part of us, and it's a gift. And so as we look at, the different aspects of our lives of how we've been able to achieve and accomplish things, typically there was masculine drive in there. Um, the part where it gets a little bit tricky is that we can tend to fall out of balance in it.
Mhm.
And as a matter of fact, most women today are out of balance in it. But it's due to feeling like we're in survival. It's due to feeling like we have no other choice but to be in that in such a heavy way. I think that when women really understand these concepts and principles of masculine and feminine, not just here intellectually, but like in their bodies, in their being, really like experience it and live from that place in their day to day, she is in a beautiful flow between masculine and feminine energy. But the parts of her that when she goes into that strong leadership and she goes into that masculine, she feels on fire, she feels radiant. And then the parts of her where her life is calling her to be in the feminine, she also feels radiant. And that's a part that I think we don't have very much context around, or we haven't experienced very much of. Like, can
Mm.
we just relax and be worthy just as is? Right?
Yeah, yeah, I completely understand that and can see that. And I'm curious, like, what does accessing more of our feminine energy, like, what does that look like on a practical level? Because I can think people might be watching this and they're like, okay, does this mean I dance around in circles all day? Like, what does it look like, or what could it look like for me?
Mhm. Right, which is where we say, like, it's not about kumbaya, and it's not about braiding hair, and I get women who reach out to me all the time about, like, "Help me with my makeup," and it's like, "I don't do that. That doesn't have anything to do with this at all." So, how does this practically look? Let's just, look in a business model. Um, Almost always when a client comes in and starts working with me, she starts to identify areas in her business and her life, but we'll just focus on business right now, where she's doing things that she doesn't like to do, she's not very good at, and she has trouble like letting go of the control. So she's still doing a lot of the things. And so just at the basic level, right? Almost every woman that I work with ends up hiring an additional support
Mhm.
in her business. And, in one area or another, she recognizes, oh, wait a minute, why am I not just getting support with this? And that could also even show up in her personal life, right? Like, it's like, well, wait a minute, I actually am, well built out in my business, but in my personal life, I'm still vacuuming because I have this old story that good women vacuum. I mean, that stuff is real. That stuff like stays with us. Or I haven't really hired a nanny and I have all these little kids because, we believe I need to be the greatest influence in my kids' lives. And so what if I hire a nanny? And then what does that mean about me as a mother? Like, these are real issues that pull on our heart. And I think we don't talk about them because the feminist narrative has quickly judged her. Like, what the heck? Stop whining around. Just get the nanny or, whatever. But the thing is at the end of the day, her heart is still like, am I doing the right thing? And like, am I still being a good mother? And am I doing the right thing in my business? And so I really am here to help support women to get to their inner voice. That's what matters most.
Yeah, I can even like see parts of myself in that, right? I'm not the cleaner of this home. And I mean, my husband, thank God, thank you, Eric. He has taken that upon himself, but there's also still this like deep narrative, which is like, I'm the woman. I take care of those things, right? And I think what you're doing is just inviting the woman who is busy in the business, is trying to grow a business, have a team, serve clients, and giving her that invitation to say, "It's okay for someone else to do that for you."
Mhm, mhm. And I think like just circling back to what I said at the end, it's about she already knows exactly what she needs to hit her next level, create her next level of impact, create her next level of income, and experience the next level of fulfillment in her life as a whole woman. She already knows, but when we don't have the support to pull apart all these different shoulds and pressures and things, we can often be run by them without even realizing that they're still running for us. And it can show up in really big ways. Another big one. And so I spend a lot of time with women about their personal relationships, because she might feel resentful of her husband. She might feel like he doesn't lead enough. She might feel like she's not sure where he really stands on issues, or is he really going to protect us when like push comes to shove. And some of these things are literally not a result of his character, but a result of how she's shown up in the relationship in masculine energy. So her husband has met her in yin or feminine energy. And so we're looking at a lot of these things like, do you need to be on all the time? Do you need to be the leader all the time? Where are the places and spaces where you can relax, where you can open up, where you can be receptive, in the receptive state rather than the giving state all the time? And so that's another kind of practical way. But again, her inner wisdom knows she just needs that support. She needs a container around this, because it can be really scary. Like if you've been hurt, you don't want to trust people. If and that goes in your partnership or in your business to help you, execute things.
I love that. And another reason why we're here today is because you have something coming up next week. Next week.
Let's see.
And one of the things that stood out to me about that is coming together in community and sisterhood. Because I know that, one of those narratives of like the female business owner who's highly successful is like it's lonely at the top, right? That's like one of the things that is said. So, can you share a little bit about what you're doing next Tuesday, like what it looks like, who it's for, all the details?
Yes. So I'm calling this a reclamation of the real divine feminine in an evening, and it's 2.5 hours long, which is a really good chunk of time for an event. It's not a space where I'm going to be showing up and lecturing or even talking the way that you and I are talking today. It's more about immediately dropping into a space where you have full permission to be in that open space, in that space of your true divinity and your true radiance. So you can share your wins, you can share, what's difficult or whatever, or you can say nothing at all, because it's about you honoring you. So I guide women in that space through some journaling prompts. I am very intuitive and I kind of follow the energy of the group. And then there's also space for like storytelling, because I think that storytelling is a lost art, something that you talk about a lot. And there's also space for networking, because it's a space where we're honoring the whole woman, not just the businesswoman or the woman who's pursuing a strong relationship, or the mother in her. It's the whole woman. So women who come to this can expect to probably peel back some layers of conditioning around who you are supposed to be that you probably didn't see before. And that is, fuel and tools to be able to move forward then in a new way that feels more authentic and in line with yourself. And while so doing, actually create really powerful relationships with other women who are out doing big things in the world.
I love this. It reminds me of how, as women, I think we wear many, I like to say many scarves. Like we just have so many different parts of ourselves. And sometimes it's challenging to like merge them all together as this leader when it's known that you show up in one way. And maybe you haven't shown up in this other way to, your community, your other women business owners. So it feels like, yeah, just like this invitation of it's okay to take one of the scarves off for a little while.
Mhm, mhm. And I think too, I don't think that we understand the gravity to which we have been born in such a time where everything about us is scrutinized, and we don't really give ourselves this like understanding that we need in this. Every single thing about us from the time we opened our eyes was like, it's probably not going to be enough. Just so you know, you're probably gonna have to change that. You better work really hard in this area and this area and this area, and make sure you're proving it. And I don't think that we really comprehend, like, that is immediate trauma. And then you add to that, like, what we would consider as real traumas, right? Really difficult things that have happened in our life. Like, it around guarded up. But I send this invitation that, if you see for yourself and for your children in the next generation, like, it starts with us today saying, wait a second, like, all of this is BS, my disdain for my body, that's not even mine. My I'm not good enough. Wait a minute, that's been there since before I could even hardly formulate a sentence. How could that be mine? It's not mine. Any of those things that limit us. The idea that I need to just put up with this relationship, be happy with it as it is. No, like, where did we get these things? And so this is really a space to show up with all parts of you, even
Mm,
the parts of you that people have told you forever they don't want.
mm. Feels like a warm hug. Feels like a nice cacao drink, like, that's what I'm feeling. It just feels so amazing, and I really think about, like, the ripple effect when we as the female business owner and say you are listening to this and you are one of the top 2% of female business owners in the world, and you struggle to just, like, take the time to honor honor you because you have so much pressure and you're wearing so many different scarves. This just feels like the most beautiful divine little hug that we can give ourselves. So thank you, Melisa, for doing this work in the world and sharing this. That just sounds amazing. I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you so much, Bridget, for giving me the opportunity to share about this.
Of course. Anytime. And Melisa and I have hugged in person, and it was the most amazing experience ever. So, getting together in sisterhood and community is literally like the best. So amazing. Well, I hope that you have an incredible rest of your day, Melisa. And I hope that everyone who's listening can just take a think about this topic for a moment. Could using your feminine energy be a growth strategy? Could taking time for yourself and honoring your relationships and some of your needs as a mother, business owner, leader, and could you access more of your divine feminine as you lead? Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, Melisa. Have a beautiful
So
day,
much,
everyone.
guys.
Bye.